It was 3:15 a.m. when a shrill doorbell pierced the peaceful night silence. At the time, I was living alone in a 3-bedroom apartment. I lifted my head from the pillow, frozen, trying to figure out if I had dreamed the sound or if someone had actually rung. After about 20 seconds, the bell rang again. Cursing and mumbling, I got out of bed and headed towards the front door. In my sleepy state, I automatically reached for the door handle with one hand and the latch with the other to unlock it. The fact that it was the middle of the night and someone was ringing my doorbell should have been suspicious. But in my sleep-deprived state, eager to return to bed, this didn't register, and I would have opened the door to the night visitor, if not for what happened next. Suddenly, I heard the distinct sound of my neighbor's door opening in the hallway. Finally made it home, I thought, and turned to head back to bed. That's when a blood-curdling scream erupted from outside, belonging to that very neighbor. His terrifying cry sent chills down my spine, and I was instantly wide awake. The scream cut off as abruptly as it had begun. Fear and curiosity battled within me. I tiptoed to my door like a spy and pressed my eye to the peephole. What I saw... At first I just heard the scream, which piqued my curiosity. You know, my home is my castle. I thought I had nothing to fear. But as I put my eye to the peephole, I could hear my own heart pounding. Right there on the landing, about 10 feet from me, lay my neighbor, his limbs convulsing. And on top of him, or rather, on his body, sat this creature. I say creature because there's no other way to describe it. It looked vaguely human, or more accurately, like a woman. It wore a white dress stained with blood, had loose red hair that shook as its head moved, because it was literally, in the truest sense, rapidly gnawing at the poor man's face. It just sat there like a hungry dog, devouring him. I had never experienced such terror in my life. Thank God the hallway light was on, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see what was happening and would have certainly gone out to check. So I stood there, continuing to watch. Fear paralyzed both my body and thoughts. It didn't even occur to me to call the police. I just stood there, watching, until the creature moved on to gouging out and eating the eyeballs. Can you imagine that sight? No, you can't. Seeing and realizing what it was doing, my brain reacted quickly, and I felt the urge to vomit. I didn't actually throw up, but I made a characteristic sound, quietly, even bringing my hand to my mouth. But that turned out to be a mistake. The creature suddenly froze. You know how a dog freezes, baring its teeth when someone tries to take its food during a meal? It slowly turned its head towards my door. That's when I really started to panic. I realized I had just given away my presence. As it turned, its face came into the light of the hallway lamp, and I could see everything clearly. Matted hair, pale skin, black bottomless eyes without irises or pupils, and teeth resembling those of a shark, long bloody, growing in several rows. Its mouth contorted into an indescribable smile and made a sound like a child makes when eating delicious chocolate and then being offered something even tastier. That kind of genuine, joyful moan. My legs gave out and I fell. And keeping my eyes on the door, began to crawl backward. I backed into a wall and kept staring at my damn door. Suddenly there was a knock, and the door handle began to rattle, followed by the entire door shaking. I couldn't make myself do anything, just sat there watching. Then the door began to receive such powerful blows that it seemed it would fly off its hinges at any moment. Unable to control myself, I passed out, as cliché as that sounds. I came to when it was already light outside. Someone was persistently ringing and knocking on my door. As soon as I heard the bell, I felt just as terrified as I had during the night. But the voices saying, "Open up, it's the police," sounded like a saving grace. Looking through the peephole, I saw 2 police officers, and behind them lay a body covered with a yellow cloth. Of course, it was my neighbor's body. Before opening the door, I spent 5 minutes asking them leading questions to make sure they were really human. I told them everything exactly as it happened. They thought I was crazy, dragged me to hospitals, and a lot more happened. But I know what I saw. Everyone decided that some psychopath had brutally killed the poor guy. End of story. I saw and know that it wasn't human, it was something terrible and intelligent. Besides, my door was all scratched up and dented. What human could do that? A couple of weeks later, having calmed down a bit, I was returning home in the evening. It was the first time since the incident that I wasn't afraid to be outside after dark. As I approached my new door, I was stunned. Right on it was scratched the word, "Wait." I locked myself in the apartment, or more accurately, climbed on top of the wardrobe, and didn't close my eyes until morning. I kept waiting for it to start breaking in again, but nothing happened. In the morning, I packed my things and left for another city to stay with my sister. I sold that apartment without ever going back, leaving all the furniture and everything I had left there. If one night you wake up to someone ringing or knocking on your door, well, you get it. Be careful.